Hello everyone. Welcome to video lecture on William Shakespeare. This video lecture aims to give introductory notes to William Shakespeare, his birth, his famous works, and the type of literary writings he has involved in. William Shakespeare was born in April 23rd, 1564 in Stratford. He was baptized on April 26th. William was the third child and first son of John and Mary Shakespeare. John Shakespeare was a maker of leather goods. John was also a prominent man in Stratford. By 1560, he was one of 14 members of the town council. Shakespeare attended the grammar school at Stratford. In 1582, he got married with Anne Hathaway. William Shakespeare's first child, Susanna, was baptized in Stratford in May 1583. His twins Hamnet and Judith were born in the year 1585. Hamnet, William's only son, died in 1596 at just 11 years old. From the time after his twins were born until 1592, little is known about him, but we know that he moved to London to write for his theatre. By 1592, Shakespeare came into limelight and established in London as a playwright and poet. In January of 1593, the theatres in London closed because of the plague and remained closed until spring of 1594. Shakespeare wrote much of his poetry during this period only. In 1599, a popular theatre owned by James Burbage was dismantled because of property rights and rebuilt along the Thames River and was renamed the Globe Theatre. Shakespeare became part owner of the new Globe Theatre and became wealthy. In 1603, Queen Elizabeth died and James VI of Scotland became James I of Scotland. Shakespeare and his friends changed their acting companies, named to the King's Men, and became more popular than ever. Between 1595 and 1611, William Shakespeare wrote 37 plays and hundreds of sonnets and other poems. His plays can be grouped into several categories, especially comedies, tragedies, histories, and tragic comedies. Let's see about these categories in detail. Comedies. Comedy pits two people or groups of people against each other, often with humorous consequences. Although they are not always entirely funny, Shakespeare's comedies often use a number of tricks to make audience laugh. These include slapstick, innuendo, disguises, and mistaken identity. The fool is a key comedic character. The fool acts as a sort of jester who will make jokes, sing songs, and comment on the action in a funny way. Strong female characters often appear in Shakespeare's comedies. They are smart, witty, and feisty. They may dress up as men to help themselves succeed in a world where their own powers is limited. Love is usually an important theme in Shakespeare's comedies. Humor stems from couple overcoming obstacles to be together. Comedies often end with marriage, a return to order, and a sense of hope. Some examples of comedies are A Midsummer Night's Dream, Twelfth Night, Much Ado About Nothing, As You Like It, The Taming of Shrew, The Merchant of Venice, The Comedy of Errors. The highlighted the plays The Merchant of Venice, Comedy of Errors, or prescribed plays in our syllabus. We are going to see these plays in detail in the yet another videos. Next comes tragedy. Tragedy tells the story of a death or misery that is caused by a combination of bad luck and human error. This story's protagonist or tragic hero usually possesses a tragic flaw such as jealousy or vengefulness that is instrumental in bringing about his or her own downfall. This is also called hamartia. Fate usually has a role to play in the unfortunate events that occur in Shakespeare's tragedies. This may take the form of a prophecy to be connected to supernatural beings like ghosts or witches. Foreshadowing and dramatic irony are often used to build tension. Sometimes a Greek chorus or a narrator help to foreshadow the terrible events. Tragedies almost always end with the death of one or more characters. As a result of witnessing these unhappy events, the audience may experience a sense of relief or a feeling of being cleansed. This is known as catharsis. Some examples of tragedies are Romeo and Juliet, Othello, Hamlet, Macbeth, Coriolanus. Romeo and Juliet and Othello are the prescribed plays in our syllabi for PG students. History plays. These plays are inspired by real events from British history. Shakespeare used the facts as a basis to explore issues of power and morality and to comment on contemporary issues or events that were taking place in his lifetime, but did not always retell stories truthfully as that of in history. By law, all theatre companies had to be supported by a financial backer or patron. It was common for groups to produce plays that were designed to please the patron. This was particularly true for history plays. Shakespeare's company was supported by the Lord Chamberlain and later by King James I, under whose patronage the company became known as the King's Men. For these reasons, we cannot take Shakespeare's plays as accurate representation of history. Actually, it is the distortion of history with imagination. Most of the history plays focus on the years during and leading up to the Wars of the Roses, which were fought between the houses of Lancaster and York between 1422 and 1485. Examples of history plays are Henry VI, Part 1, 2, and 3, Richard III, Richard II, Henry IV, Part 1 and 2, Henry V. Here, Richard II and Henry IV, Part 1 are the prescribed plays for us. Tragic comedy. This type of drama combines elements of tragedy and comedy. The plot may seem to be moving towards a tragic ending, but a last minute plot twist will usually give a happy resolution. Many of Shakespeare's tragic comedies are referred to as romances. These plays mix serious human problems such as exile, separation, with elements of myth and fantasy like magic or strange creatures. Humor may lighten the mood within a subplot or a mask, a popular form of courtly entertainment that combine music, dance, and mime with dialogue. The tragic comedies often end with reconciliation, resurrection, and forgiveness. Importance of family. Instead of focusing on love and lovers, tragic comedies often place family conflict at the center of the action. In particular, we see family members separated and then reunited with reconciliation. Examples of tragic comedies are The Winter's Tale, The Tempest, Cymbeline, and Pericles. Of these four plays, The Winter's Tale and Cymbeline are prescribed for the PG students in our syllabi. Thank you.